Hi, good to see you again. It's Graham Martin. I'm the Recruitment Guy with the second episode in Stuff I Wish My Dad Had Told Me When I Was 17. Now bizarrely, my dad didn't need to spend much time talking to me about health because it was never really something that we spoke about back in the 60s and 70s. But as I've become older and I've become a parent, I realise how vitally important it is to communicate the basic tenets of good health. Now the first one has to be, for goodness sake, don't smoke. I know it can be popular and trendy in certain circles for certain age groups, but if you're interested in sports, believe me, you don't want to be last on the pitch if there's a running race involved, or if you can't catch up with the next guy when he's running away with you the ball. So for goodness sake, just don't do it. Plus it makes your hair smell, your clothes reek, and it's expensive. There's much better things you can do with your money. So just don't do it. And if you are smoking now and you're struggling to give up, go and get some professional help. The second thing is drink. Now again, I came from a family where temperance was the byword. They didn't drink much, but a little bit. I never saw my father drunk until my wedding day, but apart from that, a half a pint of bitter, maybe the odd glass of wine that my mum would have, and that'd be it. And I would suggest that whilst you don't completely avoid alcohol, you're very careful about it. It's very easy to get into a habit of having a drink a night, and guess what? It then becomes a major problem. Plus it can affect your prospects at work, your relationships with your colleagues around you, and God forbid you drink and drive. Don't think that you can handle it. Don't think that it won't happen to you. Just imagine how you and somebody else's family are going to feel if you kill them, maim them, or merely injure them. So just don't do that. If you've got a drink going on and you're at a party, you're out with friends, and you're drinking without expecting you would be, leave the car in the car park, put the keys in your pocket, and get a cab or a lift home. The next one is an absolute no-brainer, drugs. I know quite a few people who've lost their businesses, their relationships, their family, their health through taking drugs. It's a thin end of the wedge. You might start small and you think you can handle it, but guess what? Drugs are designed to become addictive. So my absolute advice is don't do it. And again, if you're unsure or you're into that scene and you want to get out of it, go and get some professional help. There are a lot of courses, there are a lot of programs out there that will really help you. Now when it comes to health, we can't avoid sexual health matters. And back in the 70s, all we got was a half-hour video and a quick chat from the sportsmaster. It was a bit embarrassing for him as well as for us. And whilst it covered most of the bases, it wasn't as detailed as I understand you're provided with education today. And as a father talking to a son, as a man talking to some other male people in my audience, you know what? That is your responsibility. Contraception, despite what your partner might say, you know what? It's down to you. So please make sure that you avoid any possibility of unwanted pregnancies that would certainly change yours and the lady's life in question significantly. But also think about sexually transmitted diseases. Now of course in America I understand it's quite popular to go and get checked out before you commence a relationship with a new partner. It's not that popular in the UK yet, maybe in Europe. But you know what? The lady you think is an absolute wonderful girl and comes from a nice family, or she's a nice girl, she might well be so. But you know what? You don't know who her previous partner was, and you don't know who he'd been involved with. So absolutely, contraception, be careful, be safe, and look after yourself. Now whilst we're talking about looking after yourself, I think it's fair to say that if you've got any concerns about your health, if you've got a lump or a bump, or something's going on in your body that doesn't feel right, please go to the doctor and get some professional support. Ignoring things, hoping they'll go away, isn't the answer. I know a lot of people who've had cancer and have dealt with it successfully purely because they were concerned, they'd found out a little bit about the symptoms, they went and got checked out. At the same time, if you can start to get some basic critical life assurance. Now this is the insurance policy where if you do have cancer or a major issue, it pays out and it looks after you with an element of funding, maybe if you can't work for 6 months. And whilst we're talking about that, private medical insurance. Lots of companies have it and they give it to the staff, but indeed any member of the public can go and get private medical insurance. So if you do need urgent medical help, or you need a severe or a serious operation, you can go and get it done quickly at the time that suits yourself. I'm not decrying the NHS. The NHS are fantastic, but it's nice to have the options. So I hope that's given you a little bit of food for thought. Oh, before I go, food. Do read about nutrition. Learn what works for you, what works for your body, and also find out a little bit about supplements. Now, a lot of supplements are a complete waste of time, but there are some really good ones around. But you need to find out what works for you. Maybe get your GP to do a blood test and work out what your levels are. He will then help you by advising you whether you need more vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin E, or whatever. But don't just go down to the local nutrition store and pick something up, because all you're doing is lining their pockets. You won't do yourself any harm, I very much doubt it, but you probably won't be doing yourself a lot of good. This is a bit of a ramble, I'm going on and on, I know, but I want to share this stuff with you. The other thing I would suggest is try and avoid uppers. If you're studying, if you need to get a deadline done, you know what? Go and get some sleep. Look after yourself nutritionally. Don't go for uppers. Don't go for the high caffeine tablets, because you'll get a big lie on the other side. That's it, I'm done for this episode. Nice to see you. If you've got any queries, get back to me, help@therecruitmentguy.com. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.